snap chain, easy way to check.
Don't worry, I haven't changed. It's Podgy. He's a guy off TikTok. He's letting me use his video, so thanks very much, Podgy. I really appreciate it. So, this is about relative compression test and, well, sticking a nose in, just as Podgy's doing there. What's he doing? Well, what he's doing is he's sticking compressed air in every cylinder. It's a very crude cylinder leakage test, but it's very effective. He suspects we've got a snap chain. Therefore, easiest way to do it, it's going to have smashed a couple of valves. Piston's going to come up, it's going to have whacked a couple of valves. And in this case, it's done, I think, number 3 cylinder, if I remember rightly. The reason I'm making this video is not everyone knows what a relative compression test is. The reason I'm making that is a smart ass, like you get on TikTok and on YouTube, said, I do a relative compression test. Why are you doing that? Well, usually it's people with either an ego or they've got a need to feel, they've got a need to feel like they're better than everybody else. People who've gone to a training course, they've gone to Nissan down in Watford, they've whacked an amp clamp on, and what they've actually done is they've qualified to be a master tech and let's do relative compression tests. Then they think everything where you suspect a compression problem has to have a relative compression test. It's complete. Don't need it. I've done them in the past, but I've never ever needed to do it to diagnose an engine. We can also use pressure transducers in every single cylinder, whack that on a scope and get 4 digital graphs. But again, there's no need. Podgy is suspected a snap chain. If he's going to crank that engine, what's going to happen? Pistons are going to go up and they're going to smash into the valves that might be open on the other cylinders. If you do what Podgy's doing here, you might only need to fix 1 cylinder. Let's get into what relative compression test is. We've got 4 cylinders on this animation. Cylinder 1, 2 and 4 are good cylinders, but as you can see on this particular cylinder number 3, I'm simulating a valve sticking open, bent or whatever, and it's basically leaking through this port. Now, the reason you do these so-called relative compression tests, which I don't really do, I don't really see the point frankly, but people love to be very smart and say I can do a relative compression test. Well, when you have a low peak like this versus a high peak, it means that the starter motor current, when it encounters low compression, is going to be much less current. So you're going to get less amps on your amp clamp. You're going to get a waveform that drops, and that confirms you've got less compression in the case of this cylinder here. So this low peak represents very low amperage because it's not doing any work because it's losing compression. The cylinder isn't sealed. And you can pick that up on an oscilloscope by using the amp clamp. These peaks here means that we've got much stronger compression because, of course, as this piston's going up, like in cylinder 4 there, we can see that it's having to do more work. Therefore, the starter motor is pulling more amps because it's having to cope with much higher compression. That is a relative compression test. There's nothing more to say.
That's just an extension with a tyre valve in the back, at the front of it. Bang, 1, compression's alright. Compression's alright. Compression's alright. Nothing. Bent valves.
Someone said to me many years ago, they said, I've heard about them master techs. I don't think they're much good. I used to be a master tech, me, on Nissan actually, funnily enough, and I was pretty good on BMWs, if you can all remember. People like this bloke remind me of people a bit like me, except he probably knows even more than I do about mechanical stuff, basically. He seems a really good fault finder. And I can't stand people who look down the nose at people who are clever enough to get a compressed air line, stick a tyre valve on, which is a perfect seal, big strong forearms he's got, stick it down that cylinder, and basically do a dead easy test. He's pulled the camshafts out, you notice, because if you don't pull the camshafts out, if them camshafts are in the wrong position because the chain snapped, well, of course, the valves are going to be open on that particular cylinder. You might have a cylinder, for example, it's on its induction stroke, its piston's down, chain snaps, inlet valve starting to open. Well, when Podgy puts that line in, it's going to have no compression, so that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean it's got a bent valve, it just means the timing when the chain snap was on that particular 4-stroke cycle, you know, the intake part of the 4-stroke cycle, if you like. So by pulling the cams off, because you're going to pull the head off anyway, so you've half stripped it. And another guy says, well, yeah, but why are you doing all that work? Because you're going to take the head off anyway. Well, maybe you're not going to take the bloody head off anyway. Maybe customer might want to pay 2 or 3 hours for you to strip it so far just to see how bad it is. It could be anything, couldn't it? It could be a a piston rings might have let go, and it might be pushing compression into the crank. You don't know, dear. There's all sorts of things, and it's always dead easy to be a armchair bloody expert when you're not doing it day in, day out. Now then, let's have a quick look at precisely what happens when he's putting that airline in, because a lot of people watching my channel, they're new to fault find, they're new to cars. Let's see what happens when we're putting that compressed air in that engine and why we're doing it, what we're trying to find out.
Cylinder 1, 2 and 4 with 93 psi. You could have more or less in a real car. Let's you know, not dwell on that too much. Cylinder 3 in Podgy's car, we've got 12 psi. Again, we could have 0, we could have 12, we could have more, we could have less. The point I'm making is that he's getting an airline, shop airline, and he's putting it in every single cylinder in turn. We're filling cylinder 1, we've got closed valves, we're getting 92 psi. You get the idea. Same in cylinder 2. And in cylinder 3, he might have intake and exhaust, but probably just one rather than the other. Bent, smashed, missing, whatever. Piston has come up like this and smashed that right to bits. And he's hearing the air, like you could hear it on the video, you could hear the air escaping, probably straight down the exhaust or back through the intake, or in some cases even both intake and exhaust. That is why he's doing it. He's getting his spark plug hole here, which obviously would be vertical here, and he's putting the airline in, and he's whacking a lot of pressure in. He's putting his big forearms down and pushing that tyre valve around that spark plug hole, and he's filling it. There's nowhere for the air to go. It's just going to fill it up. He's not even using a pressure gauge. But by God, when you're putting in nearly 100 psi in something, if not more, from an airline, from a workshop, you'll feel if there's compression. Believe me. Sometimes what can happen though is the piston, if it's here, it can push the piston down like that, and as it kicks the piston down, it can cause a lot of problems. However, on that particular engine with a snap chain, I guess it might even have been a bit jammed. The crank, the chain might be jammed in position when it breaks, you know. But be mindful when you do this, variable pressure regulator is advised, because you can kick the pistons down, then you'll end up opening valves anyway and spinning the crank round. So yeah, cylinder 1, 2 and 4, no problem. But of course, our cylinder 3, it's pissing out like a sieve because the chain's gone. Can't be anything else. If you've took your camshafts off the top, so your valves are completely unloaded and the springs are snapping them shut because you've got no cam lobes pressurising and pushing your valves down, they can only either be the valves, a crack in the head, or piston rings knackered or something like that. But obviously, it's very unlikely. What you can do is that the piston rings will be bad, really. It's usually just the valves, isn't it? You can get a bore cam down here as well. I've done that, haven't I? And you've seen my videos where I've put a bore cam down here in the spark plug hole, sideways cam. I put my cam around this point here, yay point, and then I'm looking and I spin the cam round sideways and flick it 180 degrees and all sorts of fancy stuff. And sometimes I've seen valves just on this angle here, slightly canted. You can see one side's open and one side's shut to the head. And then you can put your cam back in, flick it on the straight down view, look at your piston dome here, and you can see like impact damage on the piston crown where the valves have hit it. Simple as that. Great idea, Podgy. Well done.
I hope that clears a few things up for you. If you want to do a relative compression test, by all means do one. If you've got a cylinder leakage test with a regulator valve, do that. If not, do what Podgy did, but make sure you've got good strong forearms. I hope you liked it. Please subscribe and like it and share the video, because it really helps. Otherwise, if you don't, I'm not going to grow. I'm nearly at 10,000 by the way, so it could be a bit of a celebration in a couple of days. See you soon. Thanks.
For more advanced fault finding tips like these, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.